Welcome back, everybody. Just so you know, I'm in the middle of a 3-day fast, so if I seem a little low energy, you'll know why. We left off talking about America's capitalist creation myth, the one that we're taught in school, that we're capitalists. In practice, we're a constitutional republic with a tendency towards inverted totalitarianism, a state in which social and economic policy is co-opted by several large corporations that control our lives. UNFTR. So we like to think of ourselves as a democracy with a capitalist economy. We'll get to democracy another time, but for now, let's build on this idea that we are indeed a capitalist society. As we established in the prior episodes, if we accept Adam Smith as the godfather of capitalism, or one of them, then all we have to do is read his words to understand his idea of capitalism was a market-based economy with strict regulations to level the competitive playing field, and that surplus capital should go towards supporting things like general welfare and the arts and sciences. One of my favorite writers is Chris Hedges. He can be a little gloomy at times, but I do consider him a treasure. And one of the theorists that he invokes a lot is Sheldon Wolin, who coined the term inverted totalitarianism to describe what he saw as the emerging form of government in the United States. He called us a managed democracy controlled by a faceless, anonymous corporate state. It looks like a democracy, has capitalist tendencies in so much as it operates a market economy. And it talks a good game about patriotism, liberty, independent branches of government to provide checks and balances, blah, blah, blah. But when you scratch below the surface, all you find are corporations. If you think that's a stretch, let's look at a day in the life of what the advertising community would like you to think is a typical American. Your alarm goes off to the sound of a corporately owned radio station thanks to deregulation in 1996, or perhaps to the app on your smartphone, also owned by a corporation and manufactured by a child in a far-off nation that we abuse by proxy because corporations lobbied for favorable trade terms. I'm guessing you didn't knit your own clothes, cobble your own shoes, or grow your own food, so you drape corporate labels on your body after using several brand name products to clean your hair, your armpits, and genitals. If you're doing well, maybe you hop on your Peloton to work out before you clean up. You'll consume breakfast products from one of only dozens of manufacturers that control the food supply and log on to work from one of your devices. Your kids are taught from school books and curriculums established or funded by government-approved corporations, or maybe they even go to a charter school. You shave with a Harry's razor, watch Netflix, Uber here and there, Airbnb vacations, buy gas from ExxonMobil, chat with friends on an iPhone or through Snapchat or Instagram, and check your bank balances on an app, Slack your coworkers, adjust your thermostat remotely, listen to the UNFTR podcast on Apple or Spotify. Redeem your Starbucks points, hop on a Zoom call, make sweet love with a Trojan condom, root for a sports team owned by a billionaire, and sponsored by an insurance company. Venmo your babysitter, buy toilet paper on Amazon, update your corporate pharmaceutical prescription through the CVS app, watch corporate media on a Samsung television with Verizon Fios service, and finally fall asleep to an app to try and shut your brain off to get a couple of hours of sleep inside your own head before waking up and doing it all over again. All right, so that's life. But what about the government? Well, when we fight in far-off places, the fighting is often done by mercenary armies. For-profit charter schools are rapidly taking the place and funding of public schools all over our nation. Our electric grid is privately owned by 500 companies. There are 122 federal prisons in this country, but there are 158 private ones. We have 1,800 think tanks producing policy papers and 12,000 registered lobbyists selling their garbage to Congress and state houses. A healthcare system literally written by insurance companies. How about something simple, like water? Well, federal funding for water infrastructure has dropped more than 75% since 1977. There to step in is corporate America. And France. Corporate France, actually. A French company called Suez controls a troubling percentage of our water. Oh, and our wastewater as well. Is there anyone that still thinks the conservative wing of the judiciary isn't funded by corporate sources? Can you say Citizens United? The fact that our elected officials trade stocks on insider information that they gather at hearings bother anyone? How about the record-breaking $14 billion in private and corporate cash that was spent on the 2020 election alone? And like clockwork, upon taking over the House, the GOP has already begun floating ideas to privatize Social Security and pieces of Medicare and Medicaid again. Noam Chomsky puts it beautifully in Profit Over People, saying that instead of citizens, our system produces consumers. Instead of communities, it produces shopping malls. The net result is an atomized society of disengaged individuals who feel demoralized, and powerless. Every branch of the U.S. government pays fealty to corporate masters and the moneyed class. The ultra-conservative court, sewn up for a generation thanks to the Trump appointments, has guaranteed that this will be the state of affairs until such time as a progressive takes over the White House and both chambers of Congress to codify campaign finance reform as the law of the land. Look up the For the People Act to understand what's possible. Of course, the longer we wait for that to happen, the further we ossify as a nation and continue to hand over the reins to billionaires who send legions of lifeless drones from the professional managerial class to hand instructions to elected officials. The tangled web of government agencies and the corporate class gets even stickier when it comes to your personal information. For example, Amazon uses predictive algorithms to predict your purchasing signals based upon digital signals that have been aggregated by data harvesting companies around the world. Google autofills your searches because it knows what you're interested in. Your phone's microphone is on, even when the phone's off. Listening, gathering, synthesizing, learning. We're all now just zeros and ones. And all this data is fed to the US government. That's not a conspiracy, mind you. That's Palantir, billionaire Peter Thiel's company. And it's just one example. One example for another day. So yeah, this isn't capitalism. Capitalism is a market-based system that relies on strict regulations to ensure healthy competition. That's not this. We have monopolies in the tech sector, the food industry, communications, and energy. It's their world now. That's what Sheldon Wolin meant by inverted totalitarianism. And I think that about sums it up. Don't forget to hit subscribe, head over to UNFTR.com to learn how you can support the show and to find our podcast. Here endeth the video.